Marcus.
Okay, bro.
Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you, man.
Was it tough for you when you were a kid? Did you struggle as a family, or?
Yeah, as a family, but more like my brothers went through a lot of tough times. Obviously, my mum's a single parent.
Yeah.
And I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, so it was 5 of us and 6 of us in the house.
Yeah.
But I was born into it, so for me it's a little bit different. It was more normal, as you say.
Yeah.
Whereas for my brothers, they was obviously alive when it was just like maybe 2 of them and my mum, so the struggle was less.
Yeah.
So they've seen it go from not so bad to very bad.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For me, it was a little bit different, but I have a lot of family members in Manchester, so I had a lot of help. My mum had a lot of help.
Yeah.
We'd go to my nana's house sometimes, just my uncles. So it's nice, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it at all.
And you don't really realize it as a kid as well, because you just cope with
exactly
how it is.
Yeah.
My parents as well divorced when I was 5, and I just dealt with it.
Yeah. It's easier to deal with then.
How it is.
Yeah.
That was my reality. I do think it is good that you somewhere at some point in your life that you struggle and that you have to find a way out of it.
Yeah. It's for me, I just try and spread that message. Like when you are struggling, like you don't need to from the areas where I've lived, people turn to the wrong things, and just to tell them like you don't have.
The area was bad as well when you grew up.
It's tough. Even until I was 12, when I started to go to like with United full time.
Yeah.
Then they moved me out my house, and then I was living with like an accommodation and really lovely people. But that area where I was moving from, I used to go back on weekends.
Yeah.
And
then you saw the difference.
Yeah, 15 minutes down the road, complete different way of life. And for me, that like it opened my eyes then.
Did it make you realize as well, like, okay, this is what I don't want, you know?
Yeah.
I have a dream, even at that age.
Yeah. It was more for my mum, because like that's the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted to get her out of, like, so she can see where we can become. And
interesting that. So even at the age of 12,
12
you're realizing like I want a better life for all of us.
Yeah. And we used to. My brother is friends with Danny Welbeck's brother.
Okay.
And I remember Welbeck took me to his house when he first started playing.
Yeah.
And then that was another little step where it was like, so this is what you can have if things go well, and like I could see his family, everyone's happy, smiling.
Yeah. So you could actually see what your
like
future
in the future
looks like.
yeah.
And as well, were there points where your friends, for example, were doing naughty things?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, listen, because in my situation, I had my friends as well, colleagues I was playing with, and they were sometimes doing naughty things. And although I was half involved, I didn't do them.
Yeah.
Because I had the dream.
Just because you're there, it associates you with.
But I did see some stuff. Like a kid of 12 years old shouldn't really see, you know.
Yeah.
And funny enough, those people, those players who were talented and everything, didn't make it. All of them. Strange is that out of that group, that somehow, it's just, if you don't have that focus, even from a young age. Yeah,
it's I think the mindset sets you apart, and that's what I try to tell the kids coming through now, is that you work hard to get into the first team, but if you don't change, you have to change your mindset to adapt to first team football. If that doesn't change, it's impossible to stay.
Yeah, it's focus. Focus is very important. And focus on the right things. And because I had a chat years ago with a colleague of mine, and he was talking about investments and buying 50 apartments and all that. And I was listening for 1 hour, and I'm like, this guy is boring the death out of me. And then he said, Robin, what do you think? I said, I think you should work on your heading and your first touch and your shooting. Because if you do that, you will make more money than you can ever imagine.
Like everything. If that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want to do, focus on that. You know?
I think like if you do well on the pitch, everything just everything
follows.
Yeah.
Everything will
follow.
But
if you do all that stuff on the pitch, it might.
You can't live in both worlds. It's impossible. You have to make a decision and go for that, and that's it. And you do a lot of charity work as well, I see?
Yeah, we've stepped it up a little bit. like in the last 6 months. But we've always tried to do a little bit and help the homes and stuff like that. When I first started going to United, we used to catch a bus from into Manchester, then out of Manchester to get to Salford.
Yeah.
At the cliff. And just as like 2 or 3 years of doing that, and it was just me and my mum, like I just started to pick up that there's so many homeless people. So it was something in the back of my mind, like if I ever got into a position where I could help them, I'd try and do that. And like we done, so there's a way of being kind, but doing it in the wrong way. In the past, I think that's what I have been, and this was the best way to do it. It's had the biggest impact.
Yeah, I think it's good to help, but from your heart in a way to give, not to gain.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere.
Because it's about them people.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about them.
Yeah.
And if you can help perfectly, but this is a thin line, because you want to help and you want awareness, but you don't want to be the hero.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You just want to help because you want to help from the heart. But I think because you're 22, most other players who are 22 are not really thinking about others or homeless people. They're just busy with themselves. So.
Especially in Manchester, it affects me more though, because like obviously I have a big family. A lot of people know who they are, and they have a lot of friends and know a lot of families. So like there's times when you see someone on the street and it's somebody that might know my brother or my sister. So it's more personal than
that makes sense.
than what it should be.
And do you carpool as well with one of your colleagues sometimes to training?
No, not really. In the mornings, I'm a bit grumpy sometimes.
So no one wants to sit next to you?
No, I don't think so. I'm not the best company in the morning.
Do you sleep late?
No, but I sleep long. So I go to sleep usually maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Oh, that's good.
But I sleep right through till about 9 o'clock.
Because I used to be Rio's driver for 6 months. Seriously. Yeah, we were neighbors.
Yeah.
And then he said, Robin, you have to pick me up every morning. I said, yeah, but Rio, listen, I don't want to be late. Not with Fergie. You know what he would do to us? So be on time. Every day it was a struggle. And I was knocking on the door, screaming, Rio, Rio, Rio. I've been driving him around for 6 months. That was funny. It was really funny. He still calls me his driver. His driver from Manchester. He's a good guy as well, huh?
Yeah.
Is he a sample as well for you?
Yes.
Although he didn't play in your
100%.
position, but is he like a role model?
So even the time when you was at the club, I remember when you was like doing the gym work. Maybe you didn't see us, but sometimes we would stand at the top and just watch and listen. And that done sometimes when you go and necessarily speak to us. It can do more for us when we just watch. And
I totally agree. Sometimes just watching, observing how others do it. Can,
the thing that he done for me. I remember when we was about 15, and we was watching his in the gym, and then we watched his go out and start the training session, and it was just the focus and the dedication still at the stage of your careers that he was at.
We had a routine. Like after every game, used to roll. Used to do my gym work. Used to stretch. And
that done a lot for the academy players.
Yeah.
Because we realised like you don't just do it to get there, but when you get there, you have to do probably more.
Yeah, yeah. Did you look up to who do you learn from? You know, besides the players from Manchester.
Yeah.
Did you have idols?
Yeah, definitely had idols. I think from United it was Wazza and Cristiano.
Yeah.
I think they were the ones that, because we used to go to every home game, and every now and then we'd get to watch them train. So I was probably more tuned into watching them than I was to like other teams. Like I was a massive Man United fan, so even when after United games I would go back and we just watch more United games on YouTube, and so I wouldn't really watch like other teams. I'd have my other players like Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, Messi. That I'd like to watch and analyse their games. But as a team, I'd always watch United. How was it playing with Thierry?
Yeah, I had that with Thierry because it was I was very young when I went to Arsenal, and then from Cherry, from Dennis, and like you said before as well, it was more just watching these guys, but as well off the pitch, how they behaved, how they spoke, how they even had their lunch, you know.
Yeah,
it was like I was like a kid in the sweet shop, just looking at them and how dedicated they were, day in, day out. That was so important for me at that stage of my career. And Cherry was unbelievable, but as well, he was like every day focused. He was focused. He was focused on what he wanted to do and making the difference. He was scoring 30 goals and 20 assists year in, year out.
Crazy.
So you have to work very hard for that. You know? And I looked at his shins and I was like, Jesus Christ, scars everywhere. And I was like, oh.
How old was you when you first went there?
I was 20, late 20.
Yeah.
So I started when I was 21. And just by looking at Perez, looking at even Ljungberg, how he made his runs, how Perez plays from the combination game.
You pick a lot of things up from. Yeah.
So without changing myself, I was just improving myself by getting little bits from everyone.
From everyone.
I was like, okay, he's very good at that. I take 10% there, I take 10% here.
And then you put it all together, and then you have you.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important as well, because I've seen so many players who want to be someone else. You know,
it never works.
No, it doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't work. If you want to do, I've seen players who want to do the hip shot of Thierry Henry. It's his.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what he's good at.
That's what he's good at, and you should always keep it that way. But if you can learn bits and pieces, perfect. But don't try to
emulate
like a shot or whatever. Learn from it for a little bit, but not too much.
I think it's important to embrace your own style. And
yeah, exactly. Improve it.
Yeah.
But don't try to copy people. I think it will never work. Like with Dennis, for example, I saw him doing one session where he did a passing drill with a few younger players, and he didn't make one mistake in 45 minutes. And I'm like, Jesus, man, I make 15 mistakes, sloppy mistakes. I have to change it. I have to change myself. That's the target, you know. I want to be a top player. That is what I want to do. So along the way, you learn bits and pieces.
The time with Louis was very good for me, and Giggsy as well. He helped me a lot. Because that transition can be hard, and I hadn't played much reserves football, so.
I watched the stats. Only 8 games.
Yeah.
1 goal.
Yeah. I think I was on the bench for the first team before I'd even started for the reserves.
Yeah, because you basically missed that even in the under-19s. I saw.
Yeah,
you didn't play a lot in the under-19s.
No.
Only 8 games in the reserves.
Yeah.
So you missed that bridge.
But I done a lot of, because I only changed position to striker. No more than a year before I made my debut. Yeah.
So you always used to play on the wing?
Yeah, or number 10.
Number 10 on the wing.
But it was more like, I wasn't a number 10 that would go and get the ball deep and.
It was a false 9.
Yeah. I would stay up with the attack and. Yeah. But I still feel comfortable.
Yeah, defending to the other guys.
Yeah.
Like me. I always used to do that.
But yeah,
you should go there. You should go there. I stay here. Yeah?
Van Gaal was top.
Yeah, but this is always the coach who gives you your first shot.
Yeah, he's special.
Stay special.
At the time, though, I was getting a lot of praise and attention from everywhere outside. But the biggest thing for me was his words, and that's what was making me smile every day, and to be part of.
And
Man
you
United's
felt that he
first
believed
team.
in you.
Yeah.
And as well, you were proving it. So.
Yeah, there were some games when
fantastic start.
It was. I remember a game Tottenham away, and he took me off at half time, and the next day we spoke, and honestly I was still smiling, the way he dealt with the situation, because I know I didn't play a good game, the team didn't play a good game, the coach was late, we had 20 minutes to warm up, then they scored 3 goals. It was unbelievable.
Was that the moment where you sort of realised that you're in a man's world?
Yeah, that was the game, Tottenham away.
Okay, I'm in the first team now. This is where I have to survive.
Yeah, and not only survive, but see if you can push it and improve.
Which is what you did.
Yeah, but you have to still do more, and obviously now with Ollie, that's his main focus. Like, he understands where the club is at right now, but he doesn't want us to lose the United DNA and identity. So
yeah, even at 22, you're very mature already.
I had to mature quick.
Yeah, but
because I left
everyone does, but most guys don't do it, or they need more time. And the way you are very stable, the way you play, the way you behave, the things you do off the pitch, I think it's very good. You're very open already, you know. It's good. You're positive. You have to keep it that way.
At times it's difficult, but
yeah, because a lot of people want a lot of things from you, you know. But I think you should always stay yourself.
Yeah,
stay who you are.
Sometimes we are our biggest nightmare. Like, we want everything too fast.
Yeah.
I remember because we won the FA Cup with Van Gaal.
Yeah.
After that, I had in my mind that we're gonna win everything. Like, so you're going into the season with expectations.
Get a reality check.
Yeah, you get a reality check, and you know
I had
where
a couple
the club
of
is
them
at.
over the years.
Reality checks. But
yeah,
you can't be down.
No. Whatever happens, you always have to open a new door with a positive vibe and go for it again. Whatever happens, even if you lose a couple of times, or if you have a difficult period, like in the beginning of the season,
it's tough.
Manchester United was searching for that form. How do you deal with that? With everything what comes with it, you know?
I think the only way, well, for me as an individual, the only way to deal with periods like that is just go back to what you know, which is on the training pitch, and you just refocus and try and just get back down to basics.
As a striker, you want that feeling that the midfielders at any time can pass you that final ball. And you just know in some periods the ball's not coming. So it does have an influence as well on you. So it's just everything becomes slightly more heavier, the runs, because it's like, it's not coming again. It's not coming again.
And it takes a toll on you.
It does have an influence.
For
my own experience, I was like, in those periods, it's just you just need like a second ball falling in the right place, or you just need a little bit of luck or a penalty or something to get out of that vibe, you know?
Yeah, because once you get out, one thing can change the next 2
In my
3
first season at Manchester United, I had 11 games without a goal. And it did had an influence on me. I was like, Jesus.
Like, what's going on?
Until that moment, I scored 24 goals. Everything was going in, and then I was like, nothing went in. Everything off the post, over the bar. I missed everything. And then I scored 1 goal, 1 penalty against Stoke away. And then the following game against West Ham, scored again. And then
everything was back.
Everything falls in place again. It's so weird. And do you have pets, animals?
Yeah, I have 2 dogs.
2 dogs,
Yeah, I've always growing up, we've had dogs in the family. To be honest, my mum, she never let us get a pet. And then I remember once she went to work, and me and my brother, we saved up she used to give us spends, and we saved it up for like 6 weeks. And we went and bought a puppy when she was at work. And she come home and she shouted at us. And now the dog is her best friend. She lives with the dog now. When she moved out of my house, she took the dog. So
best friend.
Well, that's how it started. Ever since then, I've always had pets.
I think as well. I think it says something about the person if you love animals. I love animals as well. At one point I had 9 animals in Istanbul. 2 horses, rabbits, cats, 1 dog.
Crazy.
It's just the bond you create with them over the years.
Obviously, a lot of times you're at home and maybe with your family,
and they're so pure.
You and the dog,
They're so pure.
Yeah, it's nice.
People told me when I moved from London to Manchester, mate, you don't know what you're doing. It's horrible there. Honestly,
it's nice.
I had such a good time. The people are so nice and polite, and they have time for you. Everyone's friendly. Because in London it's a beautiful place. Right? It's like it's so busy, and people are always in a hurry. No one really has time to have a proper sit down.
London is good. When you go to London for 2 or 3 days, it's perfect. But I just don't think I could live there. Everyone's moving too fast.
Yeah, it is. I think you're a lucky boy being a local lad.
Yeah, it's nice.
Playing for your favourite team in your hometown.
Yeah. There's nothing better.
Yeah.